Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. This is Kevin Moon from God's Country. It's time for your primetime forecast on Dr. Don's weather. Now, here's my friend, Dr. Don.
Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Welcome to Hump Day. It is Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. Time now for your prime time forecast. We'll let you know when all this rain is going to be out of here, and will there be some frozen precipitation across the area tonight? Maybe so. We'll tell you about it coming up in this morning's edition of your primetime forecast. But you need to scan that QR code on your screen or click the link at the top of this video so you can find out just how much money Jamie Dukas, you know, good old Jamie Dukas up there at Woodland, Alabama, he can tell you whether or not he can save you money. Odds are he can, and it's not going to cost you a dime to find out, and there is zero obligation. So be sure you get in touch with Jamie Dukas today to find out just how much money Alpha Insurance can save you on your insurance. All right, let's jump into your weather forecast. Don't forget you need to subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather on YouTube. It's free, and click that little bell so that when we go live, you'll be guaranteed to get that push notification when we go live to cover severe weather. So let's back up a frame. Here is today's convective outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see that we do have a slight risk of severe weather, extreme southeast Alabama down there around the Wiregrass, and then from about Fort Walton Beach over to around Tampa in Florida. And then look at central and southern Georgia. Central and coastal South Carolina and coastal North Carolina has a slight risk of severe weather today with this cold front that's moving through Alabama at this hour. We have a marginal risk of severe weather all the way up to around Athens, maybe a little bit further north, maybe along the I-85 corridor in Georgia. And then just general scattered thunder north of the I-85 corridor, even up here in northeast Georgia. So not a major severe weather outbreak today. The much better chances of seeing severe weather will be close to the coastline in Florida and maybe across the southern one tier of counties across Georgia, and then back over there towards Savannah and Brunswick and Hilton Head. Could see some nasty storms later on this afternoon. Then as we head toward your Thursday, no thunderstorms expected across the United States. Same thing on Friday. And one last look at the latest graphic from the National Weather Service at Birmingham. We're showing that line of storms moving into East Alabama at this hour. And so by 7 a.m. this morning, it's all gone. Actually, I think that happens even sooner. Probably by about 5:30 or 6 a.m. this morning, Central Time, the threat of severe weather will be all gone across East Alabama and West Georgia. And I'll show you exactly where that threat is at the moment. Again, we haven't seen anything much north of the Alabama-Florida state line all night long as far as severe weather is concerned. So let's head over here to the current conditions at the East Alabama Bee Company. We're talking 51 degrees currently. High yesterday was 55. We do have rain falling from the sky. Wind is kind of all over the place. Currently, it's northeast at 4, gusting to 16, but we have seen it gust to 25 miles per hour. And that's going to be the case throughout most of today. The range that are moving through the area right now is transporting the higher winds to the ground. I think after the rain ends, will be more of a 10 to 15 mile per hour gust occasionally throughout the rest of the day. I think the 20 to 30 mile per hour gust will kind of go away after the rain moves out. We'll see. Humidity at 96%, about as high as it can get. Barometric pressure at 29.85. So far, we've recorded right at a quarter of an inch of rain. That's probably going to close to an inch before the rain completely moves out later on this morning. Sunrise at 6:39, sunsets at 5:07 p.m. And don't forget to stop by ML Aubrey's in downtown Roanoke or Randolph Farmers Co-op in Wedowee to pick up that East Alabama Bee Company honey. Headed for 61 this afternoon. We're probably going to hit that before noon, and then the temperature will start falling this afternoon. 59 in Ashland, Lineville. Wedowee goes to 60, as well as Woodland. Ranburne at 59, and Franklin tops out at 63. Again, that most likely happens this morning. Temperatures will be falling this afternoon. Here's your 6-day forecast from the Alpha Weather Center. Jamie Dukas, your local Alpha agent, going to give you a 40 to 50% chance of rain for the remainder of this morning. Rain should be ending, or the heavy rain anyway, should be ending by 7 a.m. this morning. 8 o'clock on the outside. And then there could be a few little small showers that rumble through, but nothing of any great significance. And then the temperature will start falling this afternoon. And then look at that, a 20% chance of drizzle or a mixture of drizzle and flurries, or potentially changing over to all flurries toward daybreak tomorrow morning. Again, folks, this is not going to be a deal here. This is a novelty. The ground is well above freezing. We're not even going to make it to 32 tonight. We'll make it into the mid-30s, and yes, it can snow at 35. It can actually snow at 40. I've seen it. That's because it's so cold in the upper levels of the atmosphere, the snow doesn't have a chance to melt before it gets to that 35 degrees. But it will melt as soon as it touches the ground, so we're not anticipating any issues at all. And then maybe a 20% chance of a flurry through about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And a high temperature on Thursday of 47 degrees. Going to be a cool, blustery day on Thursday. 27 your overnight low Thursday night. Then on Friday, sunshine, 48. We start that slow warming trend on Saturday. Mostly sunny, 55. We'll introduce our next weather system on Saturday night late with a 20% chance of rain. And then on Sunday, an 80% chance of showers, maybe a peek at the sun from time to time. 54 will be your high on Sunday. 70% chance of showers, maybe even a thunderstorm late in the day on Sunday. And then on Monday, a 20% chance of showers. And I think we're probably going to be looking at maybe a little better chance of snow with this next system. The low pressure with this end of the weekend system is going to be setting up a little further south than all of the other systems we have seen so far this season. And it just depends on exactly how far south it sets up. If it makes it out into the Gulf of Mexico, that might change things a little bit. So we're going to have to keep a real close check on our forecast as we head toward the end of the weekend, first part of next week. So here is your Southern Union State Community College live Doppler HD radar at about 4:03 a.m. Central, 5:03 a.m. Eastern on your Wednesday morning, showing that line of thunderstorms moving into East Alabama and West Georgia. Really, all we're seeing here is heavy rain. But if you'll look at this line that stretches from about Roanoke down to the Tallapoosa-Chambers County line, down to around Camp Hill, and then into western Lee County, then down to around Tuskegee and Union Springs, that's where the absolute heaviest weather is taking place this morning. And along that line, you could see winds gusting 20, 25, maybe even 30 miles per hour from time to time. There could be some small hail along that line, but here is the good news. Notice how thin that line is. So we're talking literally 5 minutes, that line is past your house. So occasional gusty winds right along that line, and then maybe some brief torrential rainfall, and then that line is gone. Now, that's going to be a nuisance, though, for you folks who are out here traveling, trying to get to work this morning. And also know that because the ground is so saturated from recent rains, that gust front could knock down a few trees. If you're going to be traveling on rural roads this morning where there's not a whole lot of traffic, give yourself a little extra time, slow down, be careful, make sure there's no debris in the roadway. When this line passes, it certainly could knock down a few limbs or even a few trees across those country roads, so be careful there. But everywhere else across East Alabama and West Georgia, occasional gusty wind and occasional heavy rainfall, but most of it is on the moderate, and the greens, of course, are the light rains, and then a few scattered showers stretching all the way back to around Tuscaloosa this morning. So we've got another couple of hours to go, and I think we get the bulk of the heavy rain out of here, and then we go mostly cloudy and maybe even partly cloudy by this afternoon, and then when the wraparound moisture gets here after sunset tonight, probably toward daybreak tomorrow morning before we get cold enough, we could see a flurry mix in with some light drizzle across East Alabama and West Georgia. No travel issues or accumulation anticipated if we see any flurry activity at all. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. It's at DSTREN1040. We broadcast all of our weather information on Twitter, just as we do on Facebook, YouTube, and at DrDonWX.com. That's our home on the World Wide Web. Yeah, go to our website, because the upper right-hand corner, you'll find a button that says Donate. That's how you support us here on Dr. Don's Weather, and we depend on your support to keep this going. And we also depend on folks like Genesis Weight Clinic in downtown Roanoke, Miss Melissa Hughes and that crew down there. Also, Joey Knight at Auction 431 South in Phoenix City. Those are our partners. And if you own a business, if you're part of a civic organization, a county or municipal government, and you'd like to be a supporter with us here on Dr. Don's Weather, all you have to do is send me a message on Messenger, and I can have you started by the time we do our very next weather forecast, which, if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, will be first thing tomorrow morning, right here on Dr. Don's Weather.